The dozens of dogs are now the legal property of SPCA Cincinnati after the agency rescued them about 90 days ago.
Their previous owner goes before a judge tomorrow on animal cruelty charges. Local 12's Rich Jaffe joins us now from the SPCA in Northside with a look at how you can make a positive change in the future of these animals. Hi, Rich.
Hi, Cammie. You know, in our newscast, we throw numbers around on an almost daily basis. To say 68 dogs came out of the same West Price Hill home is one thing. But today I saw them, and to see them is heartbreaking, especially when you think about where these little guys have been. New tenants have recently moved into the tiny house on Gilsey, but the empty cages and crates can still be seen in the backyard. They were full in February when animal control officers and police began removing more than 60 small dogs and a dozen rabbits from the property. Since that time, the animals have been in the custody of SPCA Cincinnati.
Well, it's a huge deal. We have to move things around. We have to make sure all the animals that we seize in a situation like this are very comfortable. We also have to make sure that we have them in a condition that's acceptable with respect to the highest standards.
The original owner of the dogs was Harold Ray Alexander. He also goes by the name Latoisha Alexander and is facing 6 counts of animal cruelty due to the horrific conditions in which the dogs were found. The animals have now been cleaned up and medically cared for as SPCA prepares to put them up for adoption.
They went from a matted, unrecognizable mess to a Shih Tzu or a Chihuahua or whatever breed it was that was not discernible prior to us working on them.
All of the dogs will either be spayed or neutered and vaccinated before adopted. They're also being microchipped. Some have more serious issues and are receiving attention from this local veterinary hospital. Many of these little guys are starved for affection, but others are clearly afraid of people. Some have even had puppies since arriving at the SPCA.
We want people to understand that these situations do exist, and when we're involved in removing these animals, it's a costly venture, but a very necessary part of our work.
So costly, in fact, that SPCA officials told a judge it's cost them $20 a day per dog for the first month and $30 a day per dog since. That's more than 90 days of caring for Alexander's dogs, and the numbers keep growing. Now, no one argues that Latoisha Alexander should have to pick up the cost for taking care of these animals, but realistically speaking, everybody also agrees that there's very little chance of ever collecting on those assessments if it should go that way. So the general perspective is it's easier and more efficient to prosecute this thing in a criminal fashion. But Harold Dates points out that regardless of how much it costs SPCA Cincinnati or anybody else, in situations like this, what people need to do, what homeowners need to do, what residents need to do is call the officials, the folks here at SPCA and also at the police departments if they see a situation like that, because it has to be resolved. In Northside, Rich Jaffe, Local 12 News. Cammie?
Yeah, Rich, it's great that the animals were rescued, but have officials been able to offer any explanation at all as to what Alexander was doing with all those dogs?
There has been some discussion that Alexander claimed to have been a breeder, so some of those dogs allegedly were for sale, but the reality was they weren't making it off that property to any great degree, so he was just really collecting them.
Wow. All right, Rich Jaffe reporting live for us. Thank you. No solid plan yet on exactly how SPCA Cincinnati will put the dogs up for adoption, but there will probably be a group viewing at some point at their Conway Road facility, and we're going to let you know about that event just as soon as we have details on it.
Police